The Pixel Fold has been one of the most exciting smartphones that I've used in a while, and there's a lot of reasons why I love it. First off, I do want to make it clear that this video is sponsored by Google. They shipped me out this foldable beauty, but I'm still going to keep it honest with you guys. That way you can learn about everything that the Pixel Fold has to offer and what unique features that foldable screen has brought to the software. And jumping from a regular phone to a foldable screen is definitely not easy. I would know, because this is actually the first foldable device I've ever owned. I mean, I have gone to play around with other foldables in the past, but never actually owned any. And I won't lie to you, it did take a good minute to get used to it. Almost like using a new smartphone for the first time. The cover display is similar to every other candy bar device out there, but then after a good minute, my brain always reminds me that a larger landscape is waiting to unfold. And then when I do unfold it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is way better. That's kind of the gist that I got from owning a dual screen device, not to mention how great this is for multitasking. But I'll get to that in a minute. Now when I first got the Pixel Fold and I took it out of the box, I was surprised at how thin it was. But even though it's really thin, it's not the lightest. It weighs around 283 grams, so it's pretty hefty, but depending on how you look at it, that heavier weight does give the phone a more premium feel, especially when it's unfolded and you're carrying it around with two hands, because everything gets distributed nicely. And all of that weight is due to the build materials that Google used. It's got an aluminum frame all around the outside, then you've got Gorilla Glass Victus on the outer front and back, and on the inside you get that giant foldable plastic screen. They're not the most premium materials, but they still give the phone a comfortable and a nice feel in the hand. Plus, whenever I put that hinge to work by constantly opening and closing the phone, it's always been a smooth process. It does have a bit of stiffness to it so that you can open it at most angles, but I'm sure the hinge will loosen up over time to make it easier to open. As of right now, it isn't so easy to do with one hand, but with a bit of determination, you can open it. Then when you're done using that behemoth screen and close the phone shut, you'll get a very satisfying magnetic click. I never get tired of it. The phone always closes shut 100% of the way, not leaving any gaps for light or tiny dust particles to get through. And it does have a crease in the middle of the screen, which is normal. Every folding device out there has one, but the one on the Pixel Fold isn't that intrusive. Sure, you can feel it, and it is noticeable at certain angles, even when the screen is on, but you'll quickly forget about it after a minute or two of using the phone. I have seen some people online complaining that it's a bit too wide, but I honestly didn't find it to be that annoying or even that noticeable while using the screen. Everyone has different preferences and opinions though, these are just mine. Now looking past the hinge and the folding mechanism, it's pretty obvious that Google wanted to keep its signature look that they've been doing with all of its most recent Pixels. And I honestly don't mind the similarity, especially since I've always been a fan of their new design direction, starting with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. That camera bar is still there, the G logo is right below it, and even the volume rocker and power key are still on the right side, which are easy to get to. The power button even doubles as a fingerprint sensor, unlocking the phone quickly and recognizing my fingerprint really well. Or with the cover screen, I can use Face Unlock, which also works just as well. I'm just a little disappointed that Face Unlock doesn't work with the middle screen, even though it's also got a front camera. It would have been such an awesome experience to unfold the phone and have the screen instantly unlock, letting you jump straight into the action. Now, in my day-to-day use with the Pixel Fold, the quality of the displays is what really caught my attention. Besides getting the best of both worlds with a phone-like display on the outside and a more massive tablet-like screen on the inside, the quality of both screens is top level. That massive 7.6-inch panel on the inside was fantastic for watching movies and doing everyday tasks. Scrolling through my social feeds or browsing the web was such a great pleasure because besides the extra screen real estate, the resolution is insanely high. It's OLED, it's got 120Hz refresh rate, making everything feel buttery smooth, and it gets pretty bright with a peak brightness of 1450 nits. The only things I will say is that the plastic coating on the top does get pretty reflective, especially when you're outside under direct sunlight, and it can get some little scratches from your fingernails, which is a pretty big deal, but it's not the end of the world. Even the smaller cover screen on the outside was fantastic to use. It's pretty much the same size as any regular smartphone screen, 5.8 inches, and it has all the other display perks you'd want from a flagship, like being OLED, having a higher refresh rate of 120Hz, getting extremely bright, and so much more. It does max out at 1080p resolution, but In person, it actually looks just fine. Overall, I give the screens on the Pixel Fold a thumbs up, especially since Google did a fantastic job of optimizing the software to fully take advantage of that bigger screen on the inside. I mean, just for reference, the Pixel Launcher is able to show you 2 screens at once. That way you can get easier access to more of your widgets and icons on the home screen. The same goes for the notification panel. You can now see all of your quick settings tiles and notifications separated between the 2 screens. The system settings have all of your main menus on one side and the sub-menus on the other. And even most of the Google apps like Messaging, Gmail, Google Calendar, etc. have all transitioned to this new 2-panel design. For example, on Gmail, the UI has been optimized to let me scrub through all of my email conversations on the left panel while also reading an entire email on the right. Or with the Google Weather, I love that I can see the weather forecast for the next few days while also getting a detailed rundown of the current day. And surprisingly, it's not just Google apps with a revamped UI. Some third-party apps like Spotify or Telegram have also been updated to take advantage of that bigger foldable screen, and they look fantastic. Still, there are plenty of other apps that aren't properly formatted for this bigger screen, and that's not necessarily Google's fault. It's really the app developer's job to update their app's interface to support these more giant screens, and since we're still in the early stages of foldable tech, it could take a while for this transition to happen. However, the Pixel Fold does provide a solution. You can run most apps side by side in split screen. And being that this inner screen is so massive, you can still see both apps at full length. I even like that they included a new floating taskbar to make it easier to switch between your apps. I can drag any app from this taskbar to one of the side panels and have it launch side by side with another app. And these app combinations even get saved within the overview to make multitasking a breeze. I didn't even get to the best part though. Let's say I have Google Photos and the Messages app open in split screen, and I want to share a photo memory that I took with one of my buddies. Well, I can select all the photos and videos I like to share and simply drag them over to the Messages app to drop them into the conversation. It's that easy. I can even do the same thing with other apps, like dragging and dropping any file from Google Photos over to a slides presentation. It unfortunately doesn't work with every app out there, but it's a good start. So we've seen how great the Pixel Fold is when it comes to multitasking, but you get a few more perks out of this foldable screen. For instance, some apps support tabletop mode, which essentially turns the Pixel Fold into a mini laptop for a hands-free, lean-back experience. For example, if you're on a video call within Google Meet and fold the device into an upright angle, you can see whoever you're chatting with on the top half, and then you get your video chat controls on the bottom, letting you go completely hands-free while still having the camera on your face. This also works within the Google Camera app so that you can prop up the front lens to easily take a picture or a video from far away without needing anyone's help. And Google even announced at their I/O event that tabletop mode will work within the YouTube app sometime in the future. On the topic of Google I/O, they also announced that the Pixel Fold will get an upgraded dual screen interpreter mode coming this fall, meaning that the person you're talking to sees your words translated on the outer cover screen while you see their words translated on the inner screen in real time. When that gets released, I'm definitely going to use it whenever I travel. Some pretty amazing exclusive features that come with the Pixel Fold. Now, besides this updated UI to support a larger screen, it's still got the same Android 13 software found within all the other recent Pixel devices. It's still got the same looking UI with the Material U design and the same core functionalities. It's even got all of those Pixel exclusive goodies like Call Screen, Now Playing, Live Translate, the Google Recorder app, and more. I actually made a video a few months ago going over every exclusive feature found within the Google Pixels. I encourage you to watch that if you own a Google Pixel because you'll learn so much about what your phone can do. I'll drop that video in the cards. As for the Pixel Fold's update commitment, Google promises 3 solid years of major Android OS updates and 5 years of security patches. So not bad, but not the best. What is great though is that since this is a Google device, it's almost certain that you'll be one of the first to get these major Android OS updates right when they release. You can even upgrade the Pixel Fold to the beta version of Android 14 right now if you'd like, just by joining their beta program. So when it comes to the software, the Google Pixel Fold will definitely provide you with a great experience and many useful features that you won't find anywhere else. Now, of course, when it comes to a Pixel, you immediately start wondering about the cameras, because Google has always had a fantastic reputation in this department. The Pixel Fold has a total of 5 cameras, an 8 megapixel selfie on the cover screen, another front camera at 9.5 megapixels on the inner screen, and a trio setup on the back. So a lot of different ways that you can snap your photos. The back is obviously the best way to do it. I'll throw up all the camera specs on the screen for any of you who want the details, but you're essentially getting a main lens at 48 megapixels, a 10 megapixel telephoto with 5x optical zoom, and a 10 megapixel ultra wide that is a slight downgrade from the Pixel 7 Pro since it doesn't zoom out as far. It also doesn't support macro mode, so you can't get as close to an object as the Pixel 7 Pro can. Still, in general, I was more than satisfied with the shots that came out of all these cameras. It's usually the post-processing that made the pictures look like a professional edited them. During the day, the Pixel Fold did a fantastic job of making any photo look as natural as possible, while still providing great detail, exposure, contrast, and shadowing. I took shots side by side with the Pixel 7 Pro to see if I can notice a difference, and unsurprisingly, all the shots came out looking almost identical. I did notice that they slightly eased up on the saturation for the Pixel Fold, but that's about it. Nighttime shooting was also a similar story with the same looking shadowing, details, and exposure. It just had a bit less saturation and made the night sky a lot less blue, which I think made the photo look a lot more natural. I also love that none of the night shots that I ever took had any noise, and for the most part, you could always see most of the objects in the photo, even with the most minimal lighting. It was surprisingly even capable of capturing these fireworks that exploded insanely fast. But my favorite feature that you get with the Pixel Fold when shooting at night is that you can take way better astrophotography shots. Let me explain. If you unfold the screen upright to enter tabletop mode, the feature that I discussed earlier, and aim the rear lens at the night sky, you can create beautiful photos or videos of all the stars above you, all thanks to time-lapse for astrophotography. And usually you would need a tripod to do this, but since the Pixel Fold lets you prop up the screen at basically any angle, you don't need anything else. And for the most part, the shots come out looking phenomenal. It's also really nice that I can do the same thing when needing to take a selfie without needing to hold the device, or in a group setting, have everyone be in the photo without someone needing to be left out because they had to hold the camera. Tabletop mode basically turns the Pixel Fold into a phone stand. For selfies, the Pixel Fold provided more than decent results, and again, it's all thanks to Google's post-processing algorithms. However, I did find the lens on the cover screen to be a bit better than the lens on the inner screen. The latter just made the pictures look a bit more softer, but they're still more than acceptable for social media. If you want to up your selfie game though, the Pixel Fold has a neat trick up its sleeve. It lets you flip the viewfinder to the outside screen to take a much higher quality selfie with the rear lens. It's definitely a nice feature to have, and the results do look way better. But I can't say it's the most natural way to take a selfie since the lenses, they're off to the side, and you need to use 2 hands to be able to capture the shot. And of course, alongside all those extra exclusive features, you get all those older ones that come with other Pixel devices, like Magic Eraser to let you easily remove people or unwanted items from your shots. Photo Unblur to unblur anyone's face that was moving while the picture was being taken, and so much more. Also, if you'd like to try out Magic Eraser or Photo Unblur on your device, you can do so within the Google Photos app. I'll leave a link in the description to download it. Overall, these cameras on the Pixel Fold are really amazing and one of the best in the market. In terms of quality, they are a tiny bit of a downgrade from the Pixel 7 Pro, but they make up for it by supporting all of those extra foldable camera features that no other Pixel has. And handling all these features and softwares is Google's Tensor G2. It's the same chipset found within the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, and it handles everything very well. I never really found this phone to lag or throttle, even with all those extra pixels on the unfolded screen. Animations and transitions felt really smooth, apps opened up quickly, and it even handled gaming pretty well. Although it did take some getting used to playing on this tablet-like screen, it may not be the fastest phone out there, but it is more than capable. As for the battery life, it was pretty average. Getting through a full day's worth of mixed usage was pretty doable, usually leaving me with around 5 to 10% of battery life by bedtime. To be more specific, I would usually get around 4.5 to 5 hours of screen time, and that's generally with a good amount of YouTube, Spotify, and social media. But honestly, that's not that bad considering how many pixels and the amount of technology that this flagship packs. If anything, I'm just glad that it can last me the entire day, knowing how many times I unfolded that giant screen. When I do need to charge it though, it maxes out at a charging speed of 30 watts, taking just under 2 hours to fully juice up. So that's kind of a downer, especially when I forget to charge it overnight and I need to hurry up and start the day. But I am glad that it does have wireless charging at up to 7.5 watts. But it doesn't have reverse wireless charging, which also kind of sucks. Anyways, that's everything you need to know about the Google Pixel Fold. It definitely pushes a lot farther than any Google Pixel device I've ever used in the past, especially within the software. It's truly something that you can sink your teeth into that will last for years. It's just going to cost you a starting price of $17.99. And even though it does sound like a lot, that's typically what most foldable devices go for as of right now. That's just what we get with the market being so new to this foldable tech. And I'm talking about on a general level. I know some other OEMs have had foldables for years now, but some other big name OEMs are just starting to dip their toes in the waters in this new market. So with competition being so scarce, a lot more tech thrown into these new foldable devices, and a smaller market to share, the price is bound to be a bit higher than usual. Either way, I hope I helped you learn something new about the Google Pixel Fold. Let me know which exclusive feature interests you the most. Personally, I really enjoyed tabletop mode because of that hands-free experience, and split screen to make those poorly formatted apps a lot more usable while also improving multitasking. Either way, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this review, a quick thumbs up would mean the world. Let me know what you think about the Pixel Fold down in the comments, and if you plan on picking one up. Thanks for sticking to the end, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Kapow!